Hello, all. Welcome back to Not Just Lessons from Our Animals. I am Emma. I am an animal communicator, healer, and teacher. I am a guide for humans back to their authentic self. I am a messenger for Mama G and a conduit for the divine. And today is in the United States, it is Thanksgiving. And I woke up with this inspiration, spark, nudge, ping, however you want to look at it, to create an episode today. And it it's interesting. And in the Reconnect call yesterday, we were talking about words can be difficult. However, frequency really transmits the meaning of the words that we might find difficult to describe what is emerging, coming through, feeling, all of that. And so it feels important to have a conversation today in the most like holistic, honest way we can. Because, right, we know today is not the day that was sold to us that, the pilgrims and everyone broke bread and it was beautiful and great, right? Like there's so much genocide and proliferation and just like a lot, right? That happened back then, that has happened up until now. And we can all have our thoughts and feelings about all of it, right? And I think it's really important that we don't lose sight of, how we might be able to use this day in a very uplifting way. So, knowing that, right, we can't go back to the past and change anything. And maybe we don't know how we can go about changing or shifting things in the present. And so, there's this kind of this message coming through from Mama G that is about the least you can do today, and this is any day, but today that is a day that's representative of just a lot. Uh, is that you can go out to your own land that likely, especially if you're in the US, right? That likely has seen bloodshed, has seen um, some kind of aggression and um, just, yeah, just not great experiences from the existence of its existence, right? From the whole timeline that it's been here. And what we can do is we can go out and provide support to the land and to those traumatic memories that do still live within the land. And we can go out. So, there's Mama G's had this message multiple times. And if you're interested in her messages, you can find them all within Reconnect. Is that the most simple thing we can do is go out to the land and literally share our energy with her. And what that could look like is your feet, your bare feet on the ground, which is any way you do this is going to be mutually beneficial because, right, the energy of the earth is going to come up and of the land is going to come up into you. And I just want to also point out if the energy of your land is like really powerful and potent and harmonized and balanced, the energy that's coming back into you is going to reflect that. And if the energy of your land is chaotic and tension and anger and disharmony, that's the energy that's going to be reflected back into you, right? It's maybe not going to be at full capacity, all of those things, and it's going to be like tinged with that energy. So going out to our land and putting our hands on the tree or on the ground, same with our feet. I know for some of us it is cold. And I did this the other day. Putting our bare feet on the ground can be like hard, right? Because it's so cold. I know the other day I put my bare feet on the ground and I think I made it like a minute and I was like, oh my gosh, my feet were numb. I also run cold, so it didn't take long to get to that point for me. But sharing our energy, right? She says 10% of our energy with her. And so how can we go out onto our land, whether our land is shared because it's a multi-dwelling situation that is on the same quote unquote parcel of land, right? Which is also like such a human thing that's like, this is ours and this is yours, but the land is the land, right? Um, and so it can be shared. You might live in a building of some kind. And so there's many of you in the same capacity, like the same area. There's going to be land somewhere that you're able to put your hand upon. Even if I'm like getting this image of Manhattan. Even if you live in Manhattan, there's likely a tree outside of your building um that you can go put your hand on, right? Or even close to, right? You want to be able to have your hand or feet, depending on how you're doing it, hovering over the land, if not touching the land. I am a very, um, a lot of times I find that for me, I'm much more potent and powerful separate, which sounds wild. But when I'm able to be, and this is very much the two in my profile in human design, when I'm able to be in my own space where I feel super safe to like let go and be fully in it, I'm able to have a much more potent and powerful experience, conversation, exchange of energy, all the things. So if I don't feel, and that's hard for me to feel out in an open space, especially if I have my dog and I'm like, oh, okay, like where is he going? All the things. So going out on your land in some capacity and like I said, putting your hand, putting your feet, hovering, be standing close and setting the intention of sharing 10% of your energy with her to bring more harmony, right? And being cognizant and conscious of the type of energy you are sharing. Are you dumping your trash into her? Because that's not what this is about. This is not about us dumping our energetic trash into Mama G today. Today is about, first of all, just side note, always ask before dumping your energetic trash and ask, is it okay? Or is there a different way that you would prefer that I exchange what is no longer serving me? Because I'm not saying keep it all for yourself. And there are other ways that we can get rid of our own energetic trash. That's not just like continuously dumping it into Mama Jane, being like, okay, you can deal with it. Like, you're so good at this. Anyway, I have thoughts on that. Maybe I do a whole podcast episode on that. And so it's being cognizant and aware of the energy you are sharing with her. Are you sharing love and healing and protection, gratitude, not even forgiveness, but like thankfulness and, I mean, forgiveness in that, I'm sorry that I haven't maybe forged this relationship with you before. And now I want to have this conversation, this relationship with you that is a more two-way relationship. And it's not one that I'm taking for granted because it's so easy for us to take things for granted, especially when they don't have a very like physical voice. That goes for our animals as well. And so, right, like, so share energy with her that is of the uplifting capacity, right? And maybe it's not even, when you go to do it, you're not thinking like, oh, I want to share like loving energy and it's like coming out from my heart. You might be saying or thinking or feeling or seeing a certain color come out. And you're like, ooh, that color is attached to a really high frequency, and that feels really good to share. So it doesn't have to be, there's not one right way, right? If you have been in my sphere, my world at all, like you've heard me say that a million times, there's not one right way. This is our way of starting to kind of feel out our way, our own specific way with whatever we are forging a relationship with, whether it be our animal or our land or something else. And so That's the first part, right? Is to share the energy, to set the tone, to say like, hey, I'm here to support you because you've supported me, right? I live here and you're supporting me, and I haven't necessarily done a lot to support you in return. So here we go. I want to like start that relationship with you. And the other part of that is that, it feels important that we give space for her to then share, right? So there might be experiences that have happened recently or in the past that she wants to share with you, right? Having this two-way conversation. Just like for us, sometimes being able to share traumatic experiences can be really cathartic and healing. The same thing can happen for our land as well. And maybe you make a ceremony out of it, right? Maybe you make a ritual out of it. You share some sacred smoke of some kind that feels really potent and powerful, whether it be sage or Palo Santo, which again, if you are using those, that you are being really mindful of where you are sourcing them from. And if you are harvesting them from your own garden or from the wilds of wherever you live, that you're asking the plant if it's okay to take from the plant, and then taking whatever the plant says is okay. Maybe you burn rosemary or lavender, or maybe you have a spritz, or you have some essential oils, whatever the thing is, or you burn something else. Whatever you feel called to is likely going to be the thing. And maybe you ask what she wants, what would make her feel better, what would make her feel more protected, more guarded, more loved, more included, and then provide that in whatever way that you can. I know when I've done land readings before, there isn't usually this like big ask for things, right? Sometimes I'll get a sense of different places that need to be cleansed. Sometimes I'll get a sense of, oh, these types of crystals would feel really supportive along this area to like lock in the energy or whatever the case may be. I've gotten this tree like has a message, go connect with this tree. There's been messages around this area feels like it wants more interaction, whether that be from the person or having animals in that area, in that space, or removing animals from a space. Um, and there is something else. Oh, like even changing structures, right? So, um, I know a lot for most of the readings I've done where they've been along a street, so like a more traditional neighborhood, or some kind of like asphalt pretty much in general tends to lead to, I don't know why it's ashes, but like ashes feel the most potent to create this energetic barrier between the land and the asphalt. And ashes can be from a fireplace. They don't have to be from somewhere that you have to go, right? Maybe you have a wood burning fireplace, or somebody who has a wood burning fireplace that you're able to get ashes from, or a fire pit, or whatever. Or you burn a bunch of journals or things, then you can use that as like kind of the barrier between the land and this energetic dissonance that is asphalt. Um, so I don't know if there's anything else that wants to be said around this. That, today could be a really great day for us to take time to stand and sit or be with our land and to hear what they have to say from all of the experiences that they've been through, that we have not listened to, that we have forgotten, that we have decided, well, I wasn't a part of that, so it doesn't pertain to me, or I wasn't, it might have been my race, but it wasn't me, so I have no say in it. And, you know, what can we do now that can support us, the world, our land, our experience in the most potent way? So I hope this was helpful in some capacity. I am sending you all a lot of love, and I will talk to you all very soon. Bye for now.